Quiet on set. By the way, I've done a
Quiet
little
on
bit.
set,
Yeah, I've done
quiet
this
on
before, so I kind of know what to do. There's actually supposed to be someone behind the camera, so when I say quiet on set, and then I'll say speed, and then someone says rolling, there you go.
Wow.
Welcome to Career Dubs, a podcast for young people by young people. My name is Diogo, and this is the first episode where I'll be interviewing young people on their career successes and challenges, with the goal in mind of helping and inspiring you guys on your career journey. I'm excited to say that I'm welcomed by Lara today.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good.
She's a fashion graduate and currently working in hospitality. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Lara. I recently, a year ago or so, I graduated with a diploma in fashion and then took a swift 180 away from the creative industry and basically turned straight into hospitality. Kind of fell into it by accident, but yeah, I'm happy where I am.
Okay. So let's start with the questions. Question number one would be, how do you find transitioning from education to employment?
It's quite difficult because for me, it sort of happened at the same time. Like I remember being in my second year of the fashion diploma and sort of just getting a part-time job because I was like, it's weekends, it's going to work late, it's not going to interfere with my schedule and it's going to make me a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And then before you knew it, I was working like doubles because I loved being there so much. But I was also still, very conscious of maintaining my studies, and I was lucky enough to be working in a place where I was allowed to sort of say, hey, I need a month off for my studies, and they would give me that, and they'd like relax my shifts and put me on less hours. So it sort of happened, much one in the other, and I was very lucky into saying that I was like very well integrated into my job by the time that I left education, and so it was very easy for me to just be like, hey, I can go full time and I can do this and I can do that and these are my hours. So I would say the only bit of like advice that I have is don't try and make everything too final, because I feel like people, and what we get taught a lot in school is that there's a plan for everything, and there's a stage, and you have to do this first and this and this and this, and then you do your work experience and you get a job and then you do this. But it's like most people that I know who are like, sort of working their way up the career path that I know now, it wasn't like, oh, I finished and I did this education to get this qualification to get this job. It was like, no, I got this through a mate and then I realized I was good at this, so I then applied for this and then this and this and this. So it's just sort of like, almost do what's easiest for you at the time. Yeah. Because if you do what's easiest for you, then you're never going to come into contrast with being like, oh, I have to like give up this, or I have to, work loads of hours because I'm trying to do the thing that I love and also get paid. It's like, do what works for you. And sort of, we have the privilege of being young people where it's sort of like you can still rely on people in your family, and you sort of, and obviously that's not going to be the case for everybody, but I think if you can capitalize on the help that you can get while you have it. Because I know that if I had tried to move out or like get a job and then move out and then do my like course and then it would absolute mess. No, I wouldn't have done any of it. So I think just make the transition slow and gradual, and chill. Just chill.
Would you say that you grew up in a pretty good environment where you had people to help you?
I think it very much depended. I think it depends for everybody, and it varies throughout life. But me personally, I had a little bit of a turbulent relationship with my parents growing up. As, I'm pretty sure that every single teenager and every person will say that they didn't have a great relationship with their parents. But I realized that it's difficult, and it's difficult to sort of put it into words. But I think that once I realized that actually my parents are there for support, but not to do things for me, it was a big change. And it was like when I realized that I was going to have to start, but whether it was just easier for me to do my own paperwork, if I get stuck on a question, go to your parents to help, or, try and do all of that coursework for yourself. And then when it gets to deadline, you're like, Mom, this is all due. Then she can be like, yes, of course, I'll help you out. But it's just, always try and do as much as you can for yourself, because you will never know when there will be nobody to support you. So it's always good to use that while you can, because support is amazing. Yeah. But never be reliant on it, is what I would say.
I know you mentioned that a lot of people that did not have a plan set in place
Mm-hmm.
to where they wanted to be.
Yep.
They usually just got a job by a mate or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. In your case, was it like that, or?
So it all started, and I was a waiter, for 2 shifts, a whole whopping 2 shifts before I was.
How many hours?
Both my shifts. I was probably a waiter for about 12 hours in total. 12 hours of waiting, and then I was like, this is really easy.
Yeah.
Remembering the table numbers. Yeah, there's a system for everything, putting everything through, tickets, all of that. I was like, this is so easy. So then I was bored, and I was like, hey, Mr. Barman, do you want to teach me how to make a margarita so that I can make my own margarita instead of having to come to you to make a margarita? No. And he was like, yeah, okay, sure. So he taught me how to do it, and he was like, well, I'm going out for a cigarette, and the bar's yours.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. So then from there, it sort of just took off. And that's another thing that I loved about hospitality, is that everything is so fast that you don't have a chance to get bored, which is, I think, why it's one of the best jobs for people who can't stand the idea of an office job, which is, we were sort of talking about this earlier, but yeah, if you're ever thinking like, I can't stand the idea of sitting down for hours, I can't stand the idea of doing the same thing every day. It's like, if you in hospitality, everything will change in a second. Everything will change. You get to learn things. You can always improve. There will always be new faces. So, yeah, okay. I think we've drifted off tangent, but
yeah. Would you say, right? Because you find hospitality really easy, right? Would you say you're an outgoing person or a shy person? Because there's some people where I know they try to get into hospitality and be a waiter, but they get anxiety on how to speak to people, how to approach people, and like what to talk about. Like, would you say you had that problem, or was it something that was just natural for you?
I think that I suppose I've struggled with both of them on both ends. I was a very shy kid, but sort of as I grew up, and I think hospitality helped me so much with this. I've always been a very chatty person. I do like a conversation with a stranger, but you can always learn something new. But I think when I first came in, I was worried. I was like, how am I going to have conversations with people? How am I going to navigate, this world of just essentially solely communication, which is what you're relying on to make everything happen. Yeah. But hospitality has helped leaps and bounds, and I have also recommended and gotten jobs for people, for like friends of mine who have severe social anxiety, and who, literally would call me before they got on the trial being like, I can't go in, I'm going to call in sick, I can't go in, I can't do this. And then you call them after and they're like, it was amazing. Yeah. It was fine. I spoke to like 4 people and one of them was even nice to me. And I'm like, yes, it's okay to speak to people. You're going to be fine. Yeah. So I would say if you do have any kind of social anxiety, get a job in hospitality. Yeah. It will seem like the worst idea in the world. It will seem like everything is going to cave in on itself. But then you get used to it and you do realize that people are just people, and people they want information. Yeah, that's true. They just want to know. They just want to know, like 90% if someone comes up to you, it's not because they're angry at you. It's not because they have a problem. It's because they just want to know something. Yeah. So, yeah. And also the idea that there were so many like careers fairs and have like help and support for like what you might want to do. Not once was hospitality mentioned. Yeah. And it's the idea that it's seen by a lot of other professions as like, oh, when are you going to get a real job? Yeah. It's like, no. This is one of the most highly skilled professions in the world. If you are in hospitality, there will always be a job for you. Yeah. There is always understaffing. So no matter what, you will always find a job. The pay, depending on how skilled you are, can be amazing. We're talking like up to like an average in London is like £16-17 an hour. Hey, if you like the bread, if you like money, yeah. 60K is pretty nice. It's pretty nice. No, I mean, not pretty nice, it's nice. It's very nice. Yeah. But it is all about, then again, people see it as they're like, oh, it's just hospitality, I don't need to, it's just it's just a stop. But like, it is a skill. You need to practice things like tray practice. Yeah. There are places which is like, if you've never carried a tray before, gone. Oh, it is out difficult. It's really difficult. It's really difficult. Would you say that the course that you did, the degree that you got on, would you classify yourself as you went to uni, or? No, absolutely not. No, I think I would have imploded if I'd gone to uni. Yeah. I, once again, just sort of struggle with basic like keeping of structures and deadlines and written work and stuff like that. So the fact that it was a college course and there was so very little written work and there was so much support that I got from my tutors, because it was still, you know, that bridge between, like, you know, secondary school where you get all support from your tutors and then university where you get barely nothing. But yeah, no, I very much feel that it was not like uni at all. There was such a support mechanism. There was always a way for you to, you know, undo, like if you ruined something back then, there was always another thing that you can take and, you know, another. So yeah, I definitely feel that it was a lot easier. It was a lot easier than uni.
I mean, because the follow-up question was, if you thought it was a stigma around going to uni and then people not using their degree that they got to get a job. So you're obviously using the degree that you got in a way.
Kind of. I mean, I studied to make clothes. Yeah. And now I make drinks. So I mean,
but I would say they do go in hand. The reason why
they are,
unless if you're working in a restaurant where you have to wear your own uniform or whatever. If you're pretty free, right? Yeah. You get a lot of compliments on your clothes.
And it's all creative as well. Like making a corset. And, you know, the logic that you apply to that, the logic you apply to making a drink is also very similar, because it's all about balancing the things that you need.
That's true,
and all about being creative and artsy, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I guess so. I think the things that I would take from my fashion course are actually more applying to me now that I'm sort of starting to do my own things with my own pop-up, my own business, in that
This is a free advertisement.
Free advertisement, yes.
Please tell them. Yeah, actually, tell them what you're doing, because it's actually pretty sick.
Cool, thank you very much. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I just wanted to say, like a lot of people do say that hospitality doesn't bring nothing, but yeah, tell them how you started and what you're going to do.
So, I basically, when I was just bartending, I was just a regular bartender, and then through just me sort of wanting to, and also through lack of staffing and just you know, being taught it on the job, I started taking on more and more responsibilities in terms of running the bar. So that would require, you know, like cleaning keg lines and doing stock and doing ordering and running services and just making sure that everything is sort of smooth. Yeah, and then I did that, and then they sort of like recognized that I was actually, you know, kind of okay at my job, and I was, you know, making progress. So they made me supervisor, and it was when I hit supervisor that I sort of realized, you know, I could probably do this for myself. Yeah. Like, I know how to do everything now. I can probably sort of start thinking about how I would move it onto a way that would, you know, specifically benefit me and be my pop-up. So what I've decided to do is it's going to be a Gothic-inspired dining experience. Okay. With like cool Gothic drinks, you know, keeping it with a color scheme, you know, like red, black, white, green, maybe, you know, keeping it spooky. And also just like incorporating everything that I've learned in hospitality with just the way that I like to be and I like to present. Because I've only just now sort of started working more within the alternative community in hospitality. So like I'm at a heavy metal bar in Hackney at the moment. But before, when I was in the high-end hospitality, you don't see alternative people. You don't see alternative people. The people with the money are the people in suits and the people who come from, you know, law firms and all of that. But then you go down and you go to like dive bars and you go to, you know, what's considered like low-end hospitality. And that's where you find all of the really cool like music and the cool people. So I want to marry those two worlds of like amazing quality service. People know what they're doing. People know how to act, how to do their job, with the kind of rebellious, fun, alternative, quirky side that I do so love. But yeah, and at the moment it's going very slowly. Haven't really got not much going on. You can follow me on Instagram. That is something you can do at Astaroth Dining. There's a bartending skeleton.
Spell it out just in case.
Oh God, can I spell ASTAR ASTR?
Do you know?
OTH.
I'll make it easier for you.
We're gonna put it on the screen.
And we're gonna make it harder for the editors. Okay. They're gonna put it on the screen.
Astroth dining. With hospitality, it's what it says it is. It's about being hospitable. It's about making people feel welcome. It's about providing a really good service, a really good environment, a really good atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's about, you know, being good at what you do. So the chefs are good at what they do. They make amazing food. It's about the bartenders being good at what they do, making good drinks. And then again, it's about the waiters being good at presenting the food and carrying it and making sure that everything is timed. So yeah, and it's also, I think, so it's about balance. It's about doing a million things at once and having, you know, a hand in 7 different pies at the same time.
Yeah.
And everything comes together at the end to make a beautiful experience for somebody. It's essentially, it's making someone's night. It's going the extra mile. It's if somebody orders a specific margarita with you and then they come up to the bar, you say exactly the same again, and they go, how did you remember? Like, how did you know? Yeah. It's the little things. It's just about caring and just making somebody feel like special for being in the place that they are. You know?
You guys are getting some good tips and insight, you know what I'm saying? Listen up. Yeah. And it's for free. The next episode it's going to cost £1 million.
You never know. You never know.
But going to the second question, or the follow-up question, was what are the skills and the traits that are most useful or you've learned of used the most?
I would say, so if you're getting a job just in like regular, just like, you know, your average little restaurant, you know, nothing's too highly is expected of you, then I would say that just be friendly. Just be friendly and be active and be there. There is nothing worse than your trial shift. You know, you have a trial shift and you need them to pass you a glass and you look at them and they're looking somewhere else. You need to be there. Just always be there. And then, you know, as you sort of like rise through the ranks and you're getting into a place where people are paying sort of like, you know, when people's bills are like £2,000, they're expecting you to be there at the door to say, hi, how are you? Good evening. Can I take your coats for you? Are you all right? You know, this is my coworker. She's going to show you to a table, this, that, and the other. And it's about almost always having the answer for something. People want to know what's good. So it's about always having the answer. People want to come there and they want to say, this is good. I'm being looked after right now. If I need something, I can ask for it and they're right there and they're going to tell me what I want, basically what I need. And, you know, it's, have an answer for someone. Always be hospitable. Always be attentive, because people hate waiting. I've had people who have been waiting for mains for 12 minutes because I can see on the system. They'll call me and they'll be saying, I've been sitting here for 45 minutes. It's always, people always just think that they've been waiting a lot longer than they have. So just be there. Just be on it. Be there.
I don't think anyone likes waiting.
No one likes waiting. Especially when they're hungry. But that's where you get upselling, and that's why you push snacks and you push drinks and you keep people entertained. Okay.
Are there any myths or misconceptions in working in hospitality that...
Misconceptions and myths, I would say probably only that you're never going to get anywhere with it. People always say...
I've actually heard it. I have.
It's like you're never going to get anywhere with it, or it's just, you know, a stop by to your real job. Which is like, yes, it can be, and hospitality is like an amazing place to be if you are just in between something and you need some quick cash. If you're saving up for traveling, if you're doing anything, you know, hospitality is always going to have a place for you, which is why it's an amazing skill to have. But the idea that you're never going to get anywhere with it is insane. People are, there is every single aspect of hospitality has somebody who is the best at their game.
That's true.
Like we're talking, you've got a bartender. Sure, that's just pulling pints in Wetherspoons. But then you've got bartending, which is mixology, which is the art of balancing taste, flavor, aroma, the weight of the cup that you're using to the type of ice that you use. Like it's such a detailed art. There's levels to it. And then you've got people, and if you don't like, you know, bartending and you don't like cooking and you're not very good at, you know, making stuff, then you've got waitressing. You've got being on the floor, and you've got, you know, organization. Even when it comes down to like who washes the dishes, who puts the stuff, there is a place. And there are people who will be like, love you so much for you washing these and putting them in one place. It's like, we love our KPs just simply because they make sure everything is there for us. It's like, there's so much love in hospitality. And
how will you deal with rejections in hospitality?
Ooh, that's a very good one, actually. Rejections in hospitality don't tend to be as be all and end all as many other people, because like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know because I've only ever really been in hospitality, but
Yeah.
as what I gather is that sometimes people will work really, really hard for a job, and it will be the be all and end all, and they'll work, for months on this application for this job, and they'll be like, well, if I don't get this, then there's no other options for me. I have to stay at the job that I already have. Whereas hospitality, it's like, there have been places where I've been like, oh, this is going to be the only bar that I want to work at. This is the place for me. And then this happened literally like two weeks ago. There was this amazing bar. It's called the Last Tuesday Society, actually, if you're looking for any cool places to go and have a cocktail in Hackney. It's like a really cool, quirky, goth-inspired bar, an absinthe parlour. And I was like, this is my ideal bar. Yeah. I've just come from a really swanky place on the Strand, and I'm just looking for somewhere that's going to be a little bit alternative and a little bit groovy. But they said, you know what, we're actually not hiring at the moment. I'm really sorry, but we've literally just filled the role last week. But they said, call us back in a couple months. Yeah. Thing with hospitality is it is so ever-changing and so fluid that not only if you get somewhere being like, hey, so we've got a couple more trial shifts, we're going to phone you back and we're not sure if you're right for us. There is going to be 3 more bars that are desperately looking for staff that are going to hire you. There's also, the idea that sort of, it's so hard to say, but yeah, if you are looking for a job, someone in hospitality will always take you, and the rejection is not that deep. So, that's good. Yeah, because even if they do reject you, they might be wanting staff in like 2 months, and then they have your CV, so they give you a ring and they're like, hey, so do you remember how you were looking for a job? And then you get to be like, actually, I'm busy, sorry. And then you flip around on them.
Well, if you guys struggle with rejection, there you go. You're not really getting rejected. You're just being put aside.
Yeah, being put on hold.
What do you like the most about your job?
I like the people. Yeah. I like making new friends. Very simply, I like making new friends. And I also like being good at my job. Yeah. I like being good at my job. And it's almost more rewarding when it is so busy and you're the only person on the bar and everyone can see how hard you're working, and then someone comes up to you and they're like, can I have a recommendation for this? And then you stop everything and you go, yes, let me talk you through our 7 different dessert wines while I've got tickets coming out of here and glasses coming up here. And it's like, no, I've got a time for you, and then they appreciate that. And so I like the people, and I like being busy. I like being.
Have you met anyone interesting while working? I'm not talking about colleagues. I'm talking about just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Any celebrities?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Jodie Comer.
I don't know who that is.
The blonde one in Killing Eve. I don't know if you. Jodie Comer. Yeah. And Stanley Tucci.
I don't know who that is.
You were everyone else is having a great time.
No, okay. The thing is, right? I might know how they look, but I might not know the name.
Okay, you know Kingsman?
It sounds familiar.
Kingsman. Okay. He's like bald and he's got glasses. That guy.
I don't if I can get a picture. I seen that.
Yeah, he's really famous. Yes.
Okay. How do you usually deal with bad days when you don't feel like going to work? And you have like a pretty busy day.
Ooh. I actually don't know because now that I'm in an environment where it's not like school. It's not like waking up and thinking, oh my God, I can't stand the idea of being there. Yeah. Very few times have I actually thought I cannot stand the idea of going into work. Yeah. And honestly, the few times that I have thought I can't stand it, I've actually I've taken a day off. Yeah. Because it's gotten to the point, it's sort of like when you do love what you do, there gets to a point where it's like, if I've just, had an awful night's sleep and I'm coming down with something and I know that we have like 300 covers and I'm going to be the only one there, then I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to let them call in agency staff. Because
that's something that they can do. Yeah.
They can do that. They can have 2 agency staff and it'll be the worst day of their life. Yeah. But they're only there for a day.
That's true.
Me, I would have to do that all over again the next day. So honestly, it's about being honest with yourself. Yeah. And it's about saying, do I not want to go in because there's actually something wrong and I'm actually burnt out and I actually really need a rest, or is it just because I don't really like what I'm doing right now and this and that and the other? So.
I mean,
Just be honest with yourself.
Have you ever felt the pressure to succeed?
Yeah, I feel the pressure to succeed because I hope that my family doesn't listen to this, but I feel like.
Well, I will make sure I send.
Yeah, you're gonna send the link.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to your parents. No,
okay.
I will.
But yeah, pressure to succeed. I sort of feel like I might be the only one in my family because they all have amazing ideas and they all have a lot of like good intention, but what do I see as the fruits of their labor? You know, I'm not seeing a lot, and I know that they all have they have dreams to like. I know my mum wants to like buy some land and have a nice place to retire and all that stuff, but I want to be able to provide that for them. So it less comes from a place of like, oh, I need to be the biggest, most, like, or biggest person in this and that and the other. And, part of it is selfish. Part of me does just want to be like disgustingly filthy rich. Just rolling around in money. But but most of it comes from the fact that I do really just want to do well by my family, and they have helped me so much. Like, so they have not helped me; they've put up with me. They have tolerated all of my insaneness, my craziness, my just illogical ways of thinking for so long that they deserve something. And if I can provide that for them on the back of me being able to do what I love and what I'm good at, then that's all I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you managing that right now currently?
Honestly, not great. So as I mentioned, I quit. I definitely quit. I wasn't fired.
She quit.
I quit. I quit that job about maybe like a month ago or so, and I wanted to give myself like 2 weeks to just chill out. Because, and also this is another like free bit of advice: when you're switching through jobs, please try and give yourself a break, because I know
that is a big fact.
Honestly, because you might think that it's like, oh, I just need to be out of that environment. I just need a change. It's like, no, you need a change and you need a break. You need time to reset. And me personally, coming from doing almost a year in the high-end hospitality sector, the second that I was like, this is my last day, I was so tired, and I was tired for about a week. With no explanation of like why, and then I can only sit and think, oh my god, it's because I was like really burnt out. But then I sort of accidentally let that 2 weeks turn into more of a 3 weeks. And then because I was doing really well in terms of savings, I was comfy. I wasn't exactly.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's another good tip. Make sure you save so that when you do decide to sit on your ass for 2 weeks, you can afford to, and you can not really think about worrying about rent.
Cool. So for some people that are struggling with success that are watching this right now, and they might be around your age, do you feel like if you don't do nothing with your life right now, would you feel like it will be too late later on down the line, or would it be? Personally, because
personally, I think personally, there's nothing. You can start as many things as you want in life. Like, you can be 50 and start a new business. Amazing, great. But there's something to say from getting that early start. Thank
you for listening and for staying over here. I know you had one prayer annoying host and a wonderful what would you call you? Like,
a lady of the manor.
Oh wait, a lady of the manor. Wait, what was I supposed to say? I genuinely forgot.
You're looking at the wrong person, babe.
No. I was talking about
ideas.
You told me to say something.
I told you to say something. I did tell you to say something.
Yeah, and I forgot.
Oh, how does it feel to be a legend?
Oh, yeah. How does it feel to be a legend?
It feels pretty great to be a legend. I can't lie to you. There you go.
But, thank you for listening and for tuning in. If you guys do want to see Lara in episode 20 or whatever, because you did say you want to open your business in 6 months.
Oh god, I've said it now. I have to.
You have to now, So if you do want to see a follow up in this, right? Please like and subscribe. I literally don't know where this is going. So
where's it going?
Oh yeah, where's it going?
We're gonna be sharing it on socials.
On all the socials.
Oh well, yeah, we're gonna go viral.
Go viral. Just like, subscribe, and see us on everywhere. On billboards in central London.
There you go. But before we go, do you have any top 3 tips that you would give to someone that wanted to start a career in hospitality?
I would say, firstly, when you're looking, do a lot of looking, which
Okay.
means, oh no, what a shame, you're gonna have to spend a whole week going to bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh no. Like, just spend
Yeah.
your whole week just looking for places, because there's nothing worse than realizing that you're gonna be sort of, you have to be in a place where you don't
Yeah.
like the atmosphere and the vibe.
Yeah.
But the good thing about hospitality is that there are so many different places.
That's true, yeah.
There is a place for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so firstly, I would say spend like a week looking around for all of the places that you want to work.
Yeah.
The second thing is, during your trial shift, be present, be very present, and be active, and be like aware. Be in the last thing that you
Yeah.
need is for your trial shift to be, you know, standing at the end of the bar looking into outer space when table 13 is trying to get their attention.
Yeah.
That's a big no-go. Is if you're
Yeah.
missing cues, that's a big no-go.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe the last thing is kind of comes in with the second point, and that's always look for something to do. There is always something to do in hospitality. Whether it's cleaning a table, whether it's restocking something, whether it's sitting guests down, whether it's asking somebody if their meal was okay, there is always something to do.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
Thank you for listening, and thank you, Laura, for being
You're
here.
very welcome.
Remember, be like water. If you put water in the cup, it becomes the cup. And for those who don't feel like you are successful right now, just remind yourself this, that it might not be your time yet, but it will come. Okay? Again, we both did not like school, and hey, we're in a podcast right now, you know. She met celebrities. I met millionaires. She met a ghost as well, you know.
That ghost.
Yeah. And so as long as you're working towards your goal, and as long as you're pushing, you will succeed, okay? Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, might be in 10 years' time, but keep going. You got this.